You studied English for years. You passed tests, memorized grammar rules, and then someone asked you something in English, and your mind went completely blank. If that's happened to you, this is the channel for you. In this first video, I want to tell you our story. Because when you understand where we come from, you'll understand exactly why Massive English exists and why this method works. My name is Gia. I grew up in South Africa. And one of the most interesting things about growing up in South Africa is that you are surrounded by many different languages every single day. Where I grew up, hearing multiple languages in one day, at home, on the street, at school, even at my neighbor's house, was just normal. And what I noticed, even as a kid, was that I never learned any of those languages sitting down and studying grammar. I learned them by being around them, by being around people who spoke those languages, by listening, by understanding things in context. The grammar just came naturally over time. Later, I became an English teacher, and that's when I started to see the problem. I had students who could name every grammar tense. They could pass a written test easily. But the moment I asked them a simple question in English, something like, "Who's your favorite celebrity?" or "What did you do this weekend?" they would freeze. Their eyes would go wide and nothing would come out. My students were not bad students. They definitely were not lazy. They had studied for years. But the way they studied, with grammar tense, translation exercises, repeat after me drills, those taught them about English without ever teaching them how to use it. I call this the grammar prison, and I saw this everywhere I taught. Now, I want to tell you about my husband, Brandon, because his story is the other half of why this channel exists. Brandon is not a language teacher. He is a designer and an animator. And a few years ago, Brandon decided that he wanted to learn Japanese. At first, he tried the traditional way, using apps, textbooks, and grammar lessons. But it wasn't working because he could recognize some of the characters. He could recite conjugations, but he couldn't understand a natural conversation. Then he found something called Comprehensible input. And that's where everything changed. And he started learning Japanese completely different. By listening to content he could mostly understand every single day without studying the grammar at all, and something changed. Slowly at first, then faster. The words he was learning started sticking. Patterns started feeling natural, and he started understanding things he didn't specifically study. He was experiencing exactly what my students couldn't access. Language acquisition happening naturally, the same way I learned all my different languages growing up in a multi-language environment. That's when we both looked at each other and said, we have to build this for English learners. Most English learners in the world are grammar prisoners. They spend years in English classes. They know what the present perfect is. They know modal verbs. But they can't hold a conversation, and some of them don't understand why. And this is the reason. Studying rules about a language is completely different from acquiring the language. Massive English exists because we wanted to create the resources we wish had existed for my students and for Brandon while he was struggling to learn Japanese. Every video in this channel is designed to give your brain exactly what it needs to acquire English naturally. Not to teach you rules, not to make you repeat phrases, just to give you meaningful, understandable English over and over until your brain does what it is designed to do, which is to learn. In the next video, I'm going to explain what comprehensible input actually is, where it comes from, why the research supports it, and why it's so different from everything else you've tried before. If you've been stuck in a grammar prison for a long time, that video is very important. It's going to explain exactly why you got stuck and how to get out. So stay with me. We're just getting started.